Let's go fishing. Let's go to the seashore. Let's go to Nova Scotia, where the coast is almost 5,000 miles long and the surf rolls in on the beaches, where there are no fishing signs and no closed seasons. Where sea trout run into the maritime rivers, and where there is room for everyone, whether it's on the beach or some tidal river. For many saltwater fish enter fresh water and travel far inland to spawn. Among them there is the sea trout, the Atlantic salmon, and riffling the waters here are Gaspereau. There are thousands of them. So many that local fishermen and farmers living along the Gaspereau River have invented a way of their own to net them. First, they throw a stone into the current, which startles the fish upriver. Then a quick jump on a top pole lifts the fish at the same time into the net. Gaspereau are small cousins of the shad, which also enter brackish river waters. But the shad fishermen of Minuti go fishing with a horse, cart, and ladder. At low tide, they must first travel for 3 miles over the seafloor of Cobequid Basin to reach their nets. These nets stretch out for 1,000 feet and stand 8 feet high. When the 30-foot tides sweep over the nets, shad so plentiful in these waters at spawning time are caught in the net. Often they have to use ladders to reach them. Time is short between tides. Fog may roll in, and there's always the long trek home ahead of the rising tide which will fill the bay. Then sport fishermen take their turn, trolling or still fishing for the striped bass, lured into the brackish tidal rivers and inlets for a feed of such delicacies as squid, shrimp, or sea worms, stirred up by the swift currents. While some prefer to tangle with a 30 or 40-pound striper in tidal waters, surf fishermen will toss or spin their lines tirelessly by the hour for the big fellow lurking along the bars and sloughs of the seashore. Striper fever is catching. When the bass are running off Nova Scotia shores, even the young people get a touch of it. This striper looks like a small one, but large enough for this young angler to handle. And that's another angle on saltwater angling. You don't have to be experienced. You don't have to have fancy gear. Saltwater angling can be either a serious affair or one of the things it's fun to include in a seaside holiday for the whole family. What youngster doesn't enjoy the sea? And what if it is a tin fish on the end of his line? It's as important as a 30-pound striper to this little fellow. And look here, some poor fish is taking an awful scolding. Youngsters while away many an hour on the waterfront, even if their prize catch of the day is only a common little perch. But out beyond the harbors and coves, there is more exciting game to be had. And from harbors and coves all around the coast of Nova Scotia, during the hot days of summer, parties leave in small boats to try their luck at deep sea fishing, to take their choice of cod, haddock, flounders, or pollock, or maybe a few of each. Gulls and seabirds are nature's fishermen. They know where the fish are feeding, maybe better than the captain of your little boat, so follow them. Pollock dine in the early morning and again in the evening. They may be feeding in schools near the surface and won't be choosy over the bait you use. If you're a serious-minded pollock fisherman, and just in case you strike a 40-pounder, it's just as well to use a good split bamboo boat rod. Pollock are quick and gamey and will strike quickly. You won't land a large one without a struggle. Pollock fishing is really fun, and they're good eating when fresh out of the water. But you can enjoy saltwater fishing in your own way, and handline if you like, as many commercial fishermen do. Did anyone say codfish are a dead weight on the end of a line? Maybe so, but not this one. And here we have a flounder, a flatfish that swims and feeds on the bottom. You can see how the color of the skin. And here's another party fishing for mackerel. Mackerel are beautiful little streamlined fish. The bait can be a small piece of fish, a feather jig, or a fly, almost anything. Mackerel fishing is perhaps the most fun of all. They usually run in large schools and are speedy swimmers. On the line, especially a light trout rod, they act something like their huge cousins, the bluefin tuna. Much of the pleasure of deep-sea fishing is a picnic afterwards on the shore. It's just the right sort of an ending to an afternoon on the sea. Corn never tastes better than when boiled in seawater, which gives it just the right degree of saltiness. But half the fun is to be able to prepare the fish you've caught yourself. Fresh out of the water, it's at its best, and mackerel is just the fish for such an occasion. And look, here's something new in frying pans, just made for a picnic. Now the scent of wood smoke is in the air, and while the corn is boiling and mackerel sizzling, there's the beach to explore for clams. There's just time enough to steam a few on the side. And now the mackerel is done to a turn, and supper is ready. Did fish ever taste better? As you can see, corn on the cob, too. Even washing up seems different on such an occasion. Sand and rockweed do a good cleaning up job. But the outing isn't over yet. There's the trip home in the cool of the evening. There are plans to be made for another trip on another day, to another spot where the fishing is good and the beach inviting. So let's go fishing. Let's go to Nova Scotia with the sea all about, where saltwater angling is part of a seaside holiday. And where little boats go daily to the fishing.